It's 10:05. It's Connie McLaughlin with you on mornings until noon. Thank you so much for all your calls, all your texts on the phone in this morning. Stay tuned actually to BBC Radio Scotland, of course, throughout the day today. We're going to get more updates on that story, including, I guess, what happens with this compensation. Rishi Sunak had said a comprehensive compensation package, but what does that look like? We're hoping to get more details on that today, so we'll keep you posted on that. Still to come.
This is me, Tom Gates. I sit next to Amy Porter in class, who is very smart, and Marcus Meldrew, who's annoying.
I'm going to be speaking to children's author Liz Pichon shortly, who created the best-selling Tom Gates series and overcame self-doubt and sceptics as well later in life, I'm told. Plus...
Wow, wow, yippee-yo, yippee-yay. Where my dogs at? Mom, with me now. Bow, wow, wow, yippee-yo, yippee-yay.
It's misbehaving at home. We've got a special dog behaviour surgery with our expert River McDonald. She's going to be here. If you want to get inside your canine's brain or maybe help them get inside yours, River can help you find the key. Text her right now, 80295. Also, why an appeal for foster carers is looking for people who can help siblings stay together. Could you be a foster carer? We'll look into that. Plus...
I don't know if I've just been living under a rock, but I've actually never tried bubble tea. So come with me today. We're going to try it for the very first time.
I've been living under the same rock because I've never tried it either. That'll change today. Bubble tea is continuing to gain more popularity, but is the bubble going to burst? We're going to do the taste test a little later. And...
the easiest way I can describe it is almost like a male birth control, but for HIV, and that's what I've often used. It's just a little blue pill I take daily, and it keeps me safe.
We'll hear how the drug PrEP has changed lives, but what more is needed to prevent new cases of HIV. And the first clue in Name the Place is up next.
All the conversations that matter.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Right, it's Tuesday, and if you're a regular listener to this programme, you'll know what that means. It's just gone 10 o'clock. It is time for our weekly Name the Place quiz here in BBC Radio Scotland. Right, if you're familiar with the quiz, you're going to know how it works. If you're not, right, here's how it goes. Carol Huff is our expert. She provides an excellent list of, yes, 100% mind-boggling clues that should lead you to a place in Scotland. And when you think you've got the answer, you send us a text on this number, 80295. And when you hear this... it means some smarty pants somewhere across the country has got it right. But we're all running our own race, particularly me, because I don't think in once since I've done this programme have I ever got this right, which shouldn't in any way put you off, because some people get it within seconds of the first clue, which blows my mind. But you can keep your guesses coming right until Carol reveals all just before 12 o'clock. Right, are you ready? This is clue number 1. Today's place name is Windswept.
My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it. Yo, this is D-Nice, and I'm about to drop some funky lyrics on this track I made up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and you don't stop. Yo, my name is D-Nice, although I hate to admit it. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it. See, every episode remains in this mode. Very cool, very calm. There's no sweat in my palm. I just pick up the mic, proceed with a song. I get right to the point. My composition's not long or short. It's like a sport, hanging in the middle. But now if you're puzzled, let me kick the whole riddle. That my name is Derek, and if I didn't mention D-Nice, it's just a description. It describes the kid on the mic. I'm the TR-808, but just call me D-Nice. Conscious all around me. Who would be the sucker MC to try to down me? Is it you or you or you or you or him? But I'm like a tree and every lyric is a limb. You throw it on the turntable, very unstable, but you gamble because you need that example. There's 1,000 MCs on the planet Earth now. What is the word you say to get heard? Some like to explain, some talk educated, some like McBoo. He's X-rated. I like to think of myself as a pure rebel, a radical thinker on a musical level. Cause wanna stop me and girls wanna kiss. Wherever I go, yo, it seems I can't be dissed. Cause my name is D-Nice, but all the girls call me Derek. It ran through my crew, so I guess I've inherited the job of explaining and also maintaining the fact D-Nice is remaining not as king nor prince, but as a teacher with dope beats like this, I know I'm gonna reach you. So now I don't think you should all despise this fact. D-Nice is on the rise, straight to the top like a bubble of water is a slaughter. So I think you oughta think realistically, not egotistically. It's suicide if you even think of dissing me. Cause if you try, I'ma make your way to learn the reason I'm the 808, but just call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how just call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I do it. I live in the Bronx by the D and the 4. Writing lyrics is addictive, writing more and more and more about peace, about war, about wars. Breaking city laws to me become a chore. I wear no Jerry curls, but I still pull girls. I don't slur my words when I rap, cause that's whack. But in fact, I do not slack when I drop the funky lyric on a track. I'm not conceited when I walk the streets, and you can tell by the words that I speak that I'm not just another brother on the mic, cause the females love me, and they call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how just call me D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it. My name is D-Nice. My name is D-Nice. Taking out your suckers and you don't know how I did it.
Said that after the first guess of Name the Place, so many people get it right. Maybe not today. We would. Jack from Garvin, Windygates. No. Windygates and Fife, someone says as well. Oh, Roy, actually. Lossymouth says Bruce. No. Another one for Windygates, actually. Julie in Letham. Where is Windygates? I'm going to need to look. In Fife, I'm told. Is the windswept location Gales? Adam, currently painting and decorating in Edinburgh. Good for you, Adam. I hope it's all going well. Is the answer Isla? Says Jane in Dumfries. It's not. Wondering if it's Peterhead this week. Just windy, just like Chicago. Says John. It's not. And it's a kind of obvious answer, but probably wrong. Is it Windygates in Fife? Says Ian in Tillicountry. No, it's not. So I think we've established it's not Windygates, right? 80295. The clue for you again, right? Let me get my clues out. Hold on. Where are they? Here they The first clue to today's place name is Windswept, right? Windswept. 80295 if you think you've got the right answer for that. Well done. Thanks for getting in touch, by the way, if you've got in touch already. Right, it is 13 minutes after 10. Children's author and illustrator Liz Pichon always knew she loved creating and telling stories. But growing up in the 70s with dyslexia, a time when there was no such thing as a dyslexia diagnosis, by the way, let alone support for it, Liz had no confidence. It wasn't until 2011, when she was in her mid-40s, she published her first book in the hugely successful Tom Gates series. And since then, her books have sold over, get this, 16.5 million copies worldwide. From overcoming self-doubt to skeptics, Liz joins me in the programme to tell me about her brand new book, Tom Gates, Book of Everything. Morning, Liz.
Good morning. Good morning. God, that sounds amazing.
I know.
When you hear that back, I'll be like, is that me?
Do you know what? It's so funny whenever people say that. They think, oh, goodness me, you're talking about someone else. But what does that feel like to hear that? 16.5 million books.
Do you know, it's one of the things, because I never really talked about the dyslexic side of writing before. You can hear I've got a bit of a jazz voice going on this morning because I've been doing lots of events.
Sounds good.
But I never really talked about it before because, I wasn't really officially diagnosed. It was really because my son had real problems reading and writing, and you go through that process, and then everyone points to you and goes, it's clearly. I mean, I think we probably knew a little bit about it. I loved reading, and I loved drawing, and I loved doing all those things, but I just was so bad at maths and spelling, and there're just some things that I just wasn't very good at. And so it never really crossed my mind that I was going to end up writing books, because I just thought that was never for me. But, all the things that I love doing, I've managed to put them in a book. So it just took me a really long time to get the confidence. And, that's what I try and do when I talk to children. I say, don't let the things that you can't do stop you from doing the things you absolutely love doing. Because, there's always a way you can find different ways of doing things. And, being dyslexic as well, I think it makes you look at things in a different way. I think very visually, which is why my books have lots of drawings and doodles, and I tell stories in a different way. So I always feel very positive about that side of it, and I love the fact that children read the books and they get really inspired and get creative as well.
One thing that really struck a chord, I think, when I was reading a little bit about you, because I knew you were coming on the programme, was when you spoke about starting to write and really considering, thinking, right, I want to do this for myself.
Yes, totally.
But that idea of, you said that people sort of around you were like, are you sure? There was a little bit of doubt there from other people, and you.
Well, it was a bit like,
Yeah.
You're not a massive reader. You're terrible at spelling. How are you going to write books? And I think it's just that I didn't think it myself. It wasn't in my mind. So why would anyone else think it? But I think I did illustrate other people's stories. I mean, that's how I started, was really illustrating books. And I think I learned how to do picture books by illustrating other people's stories. And that really made me think, I really want to make a funny book. I want to make a book that when I was 9 or 10, the kind of book that I would have loved. And rather than waiting for somebody else to give me the text, I was like, well, I'm just going to do it myself. And it took me a long time. But actually, obviously I'm on book 22 now, and I've just started writing book 23 in the series. So I must be doing something right.
Well, I think that's probably a bit of an understatement, right? For people who maybe are of a certain age, maybe each end of the scale, that don't know about Tom Gates, tell us about him and about the story.
Okay, so Tom he's not, I say he's about 9 or 10. I don't actually say how old he is. He's a bit like Bart Simpson, where he's never going to get any older. Mm-hmm. So I write about the small details in life. So it's written from Tom's perspective. And like I said, the book is full of drawings and doodles. So it's about his family life. It's about his school days. It's about all the things that happen in his life. And, his teachers, I like to think they're very funny. And in this particular book that we've got out now, which is called The Book of Everything, this is a slightly different book, because I really wanted children to have a book that they could take on holiday, that they could make their own. So this book has got some stories in, but lots and lots of pages, a bit like a journal, where they can fill it up and make it their own. So there's lots of pages for them to write, stick things in, to draw their self-portraits, loads of packed with absolutely fun things to do, things to make. I've got recipes in there, and all the stories are slightly about summer and winter and autumn, and every single story has got something for the kids to draw and make. So it's a perfect book for half term, and to actually really practice your drawing, practice your doodling, stick pictures of your friends and do pictures of your family and stuff in there. So that's for The Book of Everything, which is out now.
So I mean, that sounds like you have pretty much put everything into it, which is definitely good for parents who are listening to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Thinking,
I mean, that's what I wanted to do. There are 22 books in the series, and all of them, have got lots of stories and lots of drawings and things in. But this one, I felt like it was really fun. It fits in with their collection. So any Tom Gates fan who really wants to, actually get creative and fill up the pages themselves, that this is the perfect book for them.
And also, it's going to be turned into a TV series, I'm told.
Well, funny you say that. I mean, you're in Scotland. We're actually on series 3, which is out already.
Right.
And the production company that makes it's called Wild Child Animation, and they're based in Scotland.
Oh, hey.
And actually, Screen Scotland were incredibly supportive, and they've put quite a lot of money into the series. So the first series came out in 2021, I think, just after COVID. So we've done 3 series which are up on Sky at the moment, and also you can watch some free episodes which are on YouTube as well. So yeah, it's a very Scottish production that we're doing.
What, you know, when you've the first sort of couple of times that you held your book in your hand, or you've seen the programme go out, and I mean, what was that moment like? Have you allowed yourself to actually, like, for the penny to drop that this is what you do?
Do you know, that's a really good question, because I think there are different stages. Actually having an idea that gets picked up by a publisher is always very exciting. And then suddenly you go, oh my goodness, I've got to write the book. So there's different stages. And then when you actually have the book in your hand, it's always very exciting. And then you never know whether children are going to enjoy it or not. Yeah. So it's even more exciting when you sit in the bookshop and then you get to do these events and you meet the readers, and they show you all the drawings that they've been doing and they tell you about the stories. So that's really exciting as well. And Tom Gates is in 46 different languages, so it's all over the world. So then you have the excitement of seeing children in different countries that are reading the books and enjoying them. So it really is. And also, I'm so wrapped up in the world, and I genuinely get really excited about every single book I do. So every time I do one, I'm thinking, what can I do that will, you know, if I was that child and I saw the book on the shelf, you know, you want kids to be really excited about it. So I'm always trying to put even more into the books and trying to think about what else I can write about that would be really exciting.
Do you know,
so it's you know, and seeing the TV show as well is just bonkers.
It's a funny thing, isn't it? And just going back to the reading aspect, right? Because I've got a 16-month-old, and he's just at that. I know, it's just at that stage where he's starting to, like, he'll go and grab his book and he wants to sit up and he wants to hold it and look at the pictures and read it. And I'm really, and you know this at a certain level. You think, well, it's really important that they read and everything else. But actually, this is the first time I'm actually seeing it, and the joy that he's getting from these books. Well, how much is that in your mind when you're writing it? And I guess the importance that these books have and creating language and everything that can set children up for the rest of their lives?
I think it's so important that children read books that they enjoy. And I think parents, particularly with my books, because they've got lots of drawings and doodles in, there is that slight kind of thinking that, you know, oh, maybe they're not reading enough. But there's the illustrations really engage children in a different way. And the thing that I love about what children tell me, and parents, is that the kids will go back to the books time and time again. And, you know, it's so important to get children reading, because it uses their imagination, and it means that they don't have to look at a screen. I mean, you know, they can look at screens and they can listen to audiobooks and they can do all kinds of things. But my books particularly are really good at generating that creativity, making them think, oh, you know, maybe I could draw on a T-shirt. And so I just did an event at the weekend where I had so many parents telling me the joy of seeing their children reading and how much they honestly, the kids queued up for over 3 hours to come and meet me and sign books. I would never have been bothered to do that. So it's always such a thrill. And the parents are so happy that their kids have found something that they're enjoying and that they're reading. Yeah. And, you know, they'll read my books and then they'll go on to read other books. It's just getting that habit of picking up a book, turning those pages, looking at everything, engaging in that page-turning moment, finding something that they can relate to. And I love it when the parents tell me that they recognise that they enjoy reading the books as well, because that's always great.
Yeah, there's something, isn't it, that they can connect with together.
Yes, totally.
Listen, Liz, all the best with it. I hope the voice gets better.
Much. I know. I'm croaking my way. It's really bad. But yeah, thank you so much. I'm doing lots of, if anyone wants to go to my website, I've got some other events. I am doing some book signings, and I'm in Dublin at the weekend as well. So I'm doing a big event there on Saturday. So I'm having an absolute blast. And then we've got a new book out in October. So that'll be a full novel. So people can get ready for that as well.
Enjoy
Very busy.
Well, I was going to say, I know you need to lie down, I think, by the sounds of it. Tom Gates' Book of Everything is available to buy now. Thanks for that, Liz.
Bye.
That was Liz Pichon there, the author of the Tom Gates books. Right, it is 10:23.
Radio 1's big weekend's on the way. We're heading off on tour. We're going up to Sunderland, 'cause we've never been there before. The lineup's looking good. They've got some great big names so far. Just hope that unlike last year's show, this time it's a free bar. Show.
The first clue to today's place name is windswept. Clue number 2, the second clue, is good for grazing.
You got to chill.
Relax your mind, let it constantly freeing it down to the sound of a PMD. But you should keep quiet while the MC rap. But if you're tired, then go take a nap. Stay awake and watch the show I take, because right now I'm about to shake and bake. D-E-I-C-K is my name, my spell. Things to the clientele, yo, I rock well. I'm not an MC who talking all that junk about who can be who. Sound like a punk. I just get down and I go for mine. Say check 1 2 1 2. Run down line.
To the average MC, I'm known as the Terminator, funky the maker, New Jack Terminator, destroying a ploy when you're rhyming a void. Never sweating your girl, why pay? But she's a ski choice. When I'm on the scene, I always rock the spot. I grab the steel with the crown on top. In the beginning, I like to let my rhymes flow. And at 12, I press cruise control. Sit back and relax, let my rhymes tax. Maintain a speed while I doubly max. Always calm under pressure, no need to act ill. Listen when I tell you, boy, you got to shit.
No computer information on rap. Like the BRZ, my pieces that make your toes snap. I format the rhyme step by step, make them sound deaf to maintain my rep. Prepare to come off in case of a diss. Not worry about a thing, cause we can choose. I can turn the party on just by standing still. Make a lady scream and shout while the brothers I kill. Take total control of your body and soul. Pack a 9 in my pants when it's time to roll.
I'm the P-E-E-M-D-E-E. And one thing I hate is a biting MC. When I enter the party, suckers always form a line. Then they ease the way up and try to bite my lines. I did thousands of shows, dish many faces, then deal with new jacks on the one-to-one basis. But every now and then a sucker MC gets courageous, and like an epidemic it becomes contagious. But nevertheless they all R.I.P. For all those unaware means rest in peace, cause indeed stands for microphone doctor in the capital P, capital M, capital D-E-E. No doubt the chief rocker. Don't like to get ill, but if I have to, I kill. So believe me, boy, you got to chill. DJ Boys.
Catch every word I'm saying, no it's no delaying. Don't hesitate to motivate the crowd, I'm not playing. Seeing is believing, you catch my drift. Don't try to interact because I'm just too swift.
How swift?
I'm so swift and that's a natural fact. I'm like Zorro, I'm up in your back. I don't swing on no ropes or no iron cords. The only weapon is my rapping sword.
Intimidate MCs with the tone of my vocal throne. When I'm missing on the microphone, cause I'm the funky rhyme maker. MC Undertaker, the one who likes to max relax. And when it's time, it's your dig 'em smash. I keep the hands clapping, fingers snapping, feet tapping. When it's time to roll, Uzi patrols, you control. PMD, the mic's my only friend. And through the course of the party, I kill again and again. So if you're thinking about battling, you better come prepared. Come with your shield and your army gear. You got the shit.
Text 80295. Standard message rates apply.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Gaslight by Travis. It is just coming up to 10:30 here on BBC Radio Scotland. It is time for Ask the Behaviour Pet special here on BBC Radio Scotland with our clinical animal behaviourist River McDonald, who joins me in the studio. Morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to meet you because we've not done this before.
No, it's really exciting, isn't it?
It's very, especially. So I was just saying to you off air there that if you weren't aware, one of my favourite things is dogs, animals, etc. So this is like perfect prime territory for me. So we've got an opportunity for you, more importantly at home, to get your questions in for River. She's going to be back for the full surgery after 11 o'clock this morning. So if there's something on your mind, maybe there's been a little bit of change in behaviour, or maybe you're just struggling with a rescue or something that's a little bit different, give her a call, right? 08085 92 95 00, or you can send her a text on 80295. Speaking of rescues, River, we're going to start this morning by talking about my little maniac Luna, who I've mentioned I think quite a few times on the show before. She's a little rescue from Cyprus, and she at home, River, is the perfect dog. Is everyone's dog's the perfect dog at home, are they not?
I think everyone's got an element of their dog that makes them the perfect dog. I think some people will tell you the opposite. They'll say, oh yeah, he's great on walks, but he's a nightmare at home, won't settle, he's always barking. And then you've got your dogs that struggle out of the house, but, just nice and calm and settled. When it's just the family at home, I think, when it's nice and predictable, So
that's very much her, right? She's very chilled in the house. We've had her for about 5 years. But her issue is out on a walk, and this might be the case for you at home as well, right? And if it is 80295, text me and tell me I'm not the only one. She needs to be kept on a lead at all times, even on sort of bigger fields and stuff. But she lunges. She takes a notion. Some dogs, on occasion, she doesn't really like. She doesn't mind. But the majority of the time, she'll try and lunge if she sees another dog out and about. She's not a fan. And is there ways that you can sort of try and remedy that type of behaviour? I always think it's because she's on the lead and she feels threatened.
Yeah, I think that's a really good starting point. So I think whenever we're looking at problem behaviour in dogs, the first thing that happens is, social embarrassment, I would say, if it's happening out and about or it's happening with other people. We're very immediate. The immediate thing is, that embarrassment, that worry, that fear that we feel. But actually there's an emotional component for the dog. So thinking about, okay, well, what's going on for you right now? What are you trying to achieve with this behaviour? And where's it coming from? And I think we forget that their lives are very, very restricted. With our overseas rescue dogs as well, we often don't know too much about their early life experience. So that has a huge role in what they're prepared to deal with in life. If they have been free roaming or if they've not been particularly well socialised with different dogs and different people, then they can find it really hard. And being trapped on the lead, not being able to move away, can be quite scary for them.
Oh, she was found chained to some fence.
Oh, bless
So maybe there's something there as well, actually, about the fact that she was chained to them.
Yeah,
about that,
yeah, possibly. I mean, if you imagine how it is for us, the worst thing in the world, if you're frightened of something, is not being able to get away from it. And a lot of our reactive behaviour, a lot of these behaviours, broadly speaking, we call them reactive. Sometimes, they can look quite aggressive. Quite often, the bigger and noisier it is, the more chance there is that dog just wants the thing away from them. Another element that we see in that, though, is frustration. I think frustration gets overlooked. It's also very frustrating for dogs not to be able to behave in the way that their instincts are telling them to. So it might be that they're feeling that they want to play with the other dog or interact somehow, or maybe they want to chase them off, or maybe they want to run away from them, but none of that is actually possible or accessible when they're on the lead.
It's funny, actually, because she's got a lot of dog friends.
Oh, lovely. I was going to ask that, actually. So, so she will play. She does get to play with dogs.
The family dogs, she's she loves. As soon as she sees them, she gets super excited about it. Because she knows that maybe she's safe or something. Yeah. So in a situation like that, then, if people are listening thinking, right, actually, that's really similar to my dog, what would be the first sort of protocol in terms of making sure they feel secure on the lead? Would that be the first?
Yeah, so I think there's two things to think about. In clinical behaviour, the first thing that we do is we have a really good look at the dog's health and well-being with the help of their veterinary surgeon. So vets will have a quick check over. A lot of dogs are not comfortable in the vets, so we so then we look at the vet history and the behaviour history, and we just look to make sure there's nothing that's exacerbating that. So a lot of dogs carry pain. A lot of dogs will have been through something, some traumatic injury. They might have gastric issues, and as they start to age, we start to see achy joints as well. So dogs from the age of sort of 4 or 5, we might see that creeping in. So that's really important. And then in the moment, the most important things are time and space. So making sure that if you're aware there are certain things that can trigger your dog, try and get time and space. So move away. Don't walk your dog straight past something that they might struggle with. Don't leave it to chance. Get them lots of space.
Sometimes it's tricky because a lot of people will have their dogs off the lead and they'll say, oh, my dog's fine. And then I have to say, she's not. And then there's a bit of a thing because they can't recall the dog back, and
that's a nightmare. And if anyone's listening who is that person, please keep your dog on the lead, and please go and see a trainer and get your recall sorted, because it causes a lot of distress to people who are working very hard on that behaviour. But essentially you want a balance. There'll always be situations like that, but you want to try and set up as many as possible where there's time and space, and you can just reward your dog for watching other dogs and not getting immediately feeling pressured to get in there and to either see them off or wanting to play with them and not being able to. So it's trying to get a bit of time and space and manage that emotional response. It's all to do with the stress system at that point. So the calmer we can keep the dog, the more chance we have of actually changing their behavioural response and associating something positive with the presence of another dog.
So if this is you, right, and you're listening, or there's something similar that you're thinking, right, actually would need a little bit of help from River, this is your opportunity, right? So she's going to be back in 25 minutes time, and she's going to answer any question that you've got on your dog's behaviour. 80295, or you can give her a call right now, 08085 92 95 00.
Never missing a beat, yeah. Boy, was it neat, yeah. Not just knee deep, she was totally deep when she did the freak with me. Never missing a beat, yeah. Boy, was it neat, yeah. The girl's a freak, the girl never misses a beat, yeah, yeah. Not just knee deep, she was totally deep when she did the freak with me. It didn't twerk, no. It wasn't funky no more. Not just needy, she was so needy, but when she did freak with me. Round and round, she's the freak of my desire. And when she does, she set the world on fire. Beat, yeah. Boy, was it neat, yeah. She was totally deep when she did the freak with me. It didn't work, no. Oh, no, not the most. Monkey wasn't fucking. But she was not just knee deep, she was totally deep when she did the freak with me, yeah. And I need to dance.
Let me do clue 1 and 2 first. I always feel bad if I just hit you with like clues randomly out of the blue. So clue number 1, the first clue for today's place name is Windswept. Clue number 2, the second clue is Good for Grazing. And clue number 3, a musical clue comes between 1 and 4. A musical clue comes between 1 and 4. Has that helped you in any way? 80295, couple more wrong answers for you. Drybridge, says Boyd and Troon. It's not. Tyree, says Simon in Inverness. It's not. Fraserburgh, says John in Annan. Nope. Mulgai from Quigley. It's not. Cape Rath, says Alan in East Kilbride. It is not that either. 80295, has clue 3 helped you in any way get closer to name the place for today? Keep listening, because obviously we're hoping for a right answer, but we'll give you the full sort of overview of it just before 12 o'clock with Carol Huff. Now, it is 10:39. Scotland is experiencing a nationwide shortage of foster carers. While it's clear that being able to keep children with their siblings as they enter a new foster home has a positive impact on the stability that fostering placements have, the lack of carers who can facilitate multiple children means it's increasingly difficult. So what can be done to encourage more people to become foster carers? And I guess, why is it so important to keep them together where possible? Joining us now to talk about this is Head of Foster Care at Care Visions, Sarah Mackinhill. Morning to you, Sarah.
Hi, good morning, Cloney.
Thanks for coming on. We've also got Vicky McHugh, who is a foster carer. Morning, Vicky.
Good morning.
Right, Sarah, let me start with you and talking a little bit about, I guess, how difficult the situation is right now. I mean, how many foster carers are we down, and how acute, I guess, is the problem?
So it's Foster Care Fortnight just now, and across the country with the fostering network saying we need 400 more foster families in Scotland. But I think even if just, anyone who could come forward, it'd be great to, just to come forward, think about fostering, get in touch, because 400, even one carer coming forward would really make that difference to children and young people.
Tell us a wee bit about, I guess, what's involved in foster caring, because I suppose we'll all have a kind of rough idea, but what's the reality of it?
Well, Vicky might be best placed to answer that one for you, living with fostering day to day. But I mean, it's got a lot of ups and downs, rewards and challenges. But I don't know, do you want Vicky to maybe come in here?
Yeah, I will get to Vicky in a second. I'm kind of looking more for the actual sort of process. I mean, is
sure.
it? Yeah. If you do that first, then I'll get to Vicky.
So if you're thinking of becoming a foster carer, you'll probably have lots and lots of questions that you want to have answered, and we're certainly here at Care Visions Fostering Scotland to get in touch and answer any of those for you. Anyone from any background could potentially be a foster carer, any age, with us, with Care Visions. If you're over 25, certainly get in touch. And if it's something that you've been thinking about for a while, but just haven't quite got around to getting in touch with us, it'd be great to kind of talk through it and share some more. Once you become, part of the fostering journey, you get in touch, you're kind of part of the process. You'll have lots of visits and support to talk you through the initial part and be approved as a foster carer. There's lots of training that's involved and opportunities for further development as well, and that will continue right the way through. And there's lots of supports, both from foster carers, the peer supports, but also from ourselves and the team at Care Visions, Fostering Scotland, who are there on hand all the time for any kind of advice, information that you might need to help you out as well.
So, Vicky,
it is a 24-hour job. It's a 24-hour role.
Yeah.
It's tough going, but there's ups and downs, as there is with many kind of family relationships as well.
Vicky, when it comes to the children that you have looked after, I mean, what's the sort of the situations? Could it be, are you giving a lot of notice to the children that are coming to you? Do you have discussions about the types of children and groups and siblings and everything else? How does that sort of process work in terms of I guess, how much you're a part of it?
Yeah, I mean, you're a part of it 100%. What actually happens is you're allocated your own social worker.
Right.
And you have lots of in-depth conversations about what you will be able to cope with, how it will fit in with your family environment.
Yeah.
And then they do what we call matching. And then it's looked at from that, whether you can take siblings or just singleton placements. And then it's all done like that But in reality, when you get a phone call, sometimes that's all quite fast. But they do try to match you with children that you're going to be able to help.
Right. What's your experience has been then of this? How long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it for 16 years now, and I've always found that bit very, very positive. We've always kind of done siblings throughout the way. I mean, our first placement all the years ago was a sibling group of 3, and we're very much trying to keep siblings together as much as possible.
What have you found the benefits of that being? Because I mean, you would look on the face of it and think, well, that's pretty obvious. You want to make sure that the safety of that comes from siblings being together is ensured and everything else. But what have you seen about the importance of having that continuity for these kids?
It's really important because they've been through what's happened to them together, and they need each other. For example, sibling groups that I've had, and ones just now, they needed each other, and one of the children actually potentially take on the mothering role. So they're very, very attached, and you need to come in and you need to work with them to allow them to be children again, but they still need to be together.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's. I guess you don't really think so much about that, about this idea of there's already roles that are set in stone from where they would have been before. I mean, how much training, Vicky, do you get to help with that?
Ongoing training all the time. As Sarah kind of touched on, you do your 6-month assessment, and then you're doing training all the time. Training's ongoing, and with Care Visions, you've got 24-hour support. So no matter what time of day or night, there's always someone there for you. And we attend monthly support groups as well. And I've got close friends who are foster carers as well that I've met through Care Visions. And we're all very close, and we all kind of help each other out. And of course, my family as well.
What about the kids that you've got at the moment? Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, I can speak about Tyler freely because he's quite happy with that. He's 17 and he's been with me since he was 7, and he's thriving now. He is part of a sibling group, but unfortunately couldn't be together, but not through any fault of his own. But he is in touch with them all now. He's thriving, he's sitting hires, he's just sat his theory test, and unfortunately my husband's a driving instructor, so he's teaching him to drive, which is great. And all the other kids, the girls are thriving as well. One's just doing her Nat 5s, and the other one's just started high school. I mean, we've had some ups and downs along the way, but it's the most rewarding thing in the world. I wouldn't change it for the world.
What was the decision, Vicky, that you made to say, right, we're going to do this, we're going to foster? Because I suppose there's that other question about, do you foster, do you adopt, what does that look like, and what was that for you?
Well, when we couldn't have children of our own, we kind of sat down and spoke about it, that we wanted to help lots of children. And I had a friend who was doing it, and it was always in the back of my mind. And then a family incident happened where a family member was ill, and that was just like, I thought, no, we're just going to go for it now, and we did. And we've never looked back.
What do you get out of it?
Seeing them thriving. Just seeing them achieving things in life, all the wee things as well, and seeing when they're smiling and you know that it's a genuine smile and they're having fun, it makes it all worthwhile. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Sarah, when you're listening to Vicky's experiences there, I mean, there'll be an awful lot of people who will have, been considering this, and talk to us a little bit about who you're looking for whenever you're talking about that 400 people that the 400 sort of shortfall that you've got. Who can do it? What types of people would you encourage to come forward?
So it could be anybody, really. That's the thing. Like, we've got some amazing foster carers from all different backgrounds, and so it's just there's so many different people, and right across the diverse community that we have across Scotland, it would just be great to have more people coming forward. Every child's unique and every carer's unique as well, so it's just getting that right match for them. So it doesn't matter if you're single, if you're in a partnership, whatever your sexuality as well. It's just if you've ever thought about fostering, it's just to encourage you to just pick up the phone or go on our website as well at carevisionsfostering.co.uk and just to kind of find out more with us, Vicky's touched on some of the supports that there's also like therapeutic support and education support we've got available to really kind of help people, to guide them through all of these different challenges that, you might face as a carer, as a parent, but, particularly as a foster carer. So we've got all of that there for them. But anybody of any age over 25 with us can come forward and just think about it.
What would you say, Vicky, to people who are thinking, right, do you know what, that is something that I'd consider, that I'd like to do? What would you say to them?
I would say get in touch. Just pick up the phone or email and just inquire, and then take it from there.
All right. Listen, thank you very much, both of you, for coming on this morning. Vicky, Sarah, actually, how do people get in touch then if they're listening to this and thinking, well, actually, this is something that I'd like to do?
Yep, you can give us a call, or the website carevisionsfostering.co.uk as well.
Okay. Thanks so much to both of you for coming on this morning. That was Sarah McInhill, their head of fostering at Care Visions Fostering, and Vicky McHugh, who is a foster carer. Right, it is 10:50.
Inside Firestone's newest 721 radial are 2 belts of steel cord. In each cord, 10 strands of high-strength steel. 7 strands around 2, wrapped by 1. 721. Because it's a metric radial, it can use more air, so you use less gas. We call it the Fuel Fighter, designed to save you more gas than any steel-belted radial tire Firestone has ever built. Firestone's newest 721, the Fuel Fighter.
You're listening to BBC Radio Scotland. Still to come on the programme this morning.
I don't know if I've just been living under a rock, but I've actually never tried bubble tea. So come with me today. We're going to try it for the very first time.
Yeah, we're going to do that shortly, right? Bubble tea, it is growing in popularity, but will the bubble burst? Also, keep your questions coming in for our pet behaviourist. She's going to be on the way after 11 o'clock this morning. It is time for a little bit more music.
Come on. Silky, silky. Sink shit. Ooh, baby. Gotta get my groove on. Baby, you can move on. Gotta get my groove on. Gotta get my groove on. Baby, you can move on. Gotta get my groove on. Things is hard. I might need a little bit, just for the hell of it, for the feel I get. Nice and slow, grind to the bone, toe to toe, don't you know? Oh baby, come on, that's how I get my groove on. Gotta get my groove on. Baby, you can move on. Gotta get my groove on. Gotta get my groove on. Baby, you can move on. Gotta get my groove on. Tip and left a little to the right. Keep me grooving all through the night. Going high, going low, with the groove on flow and the 9-4. Now here we go. Oh baby, up jumps the tempo. The groove is pretty simple, steady and consistent. Can I get a witness? Back and forth moving, steady as we groove. My song is about to come on. That's how I get my groove on. Gotta get my groove on. Oh baby, you can move on. Gotta get my groove on. You know what I mean? Gotta get my groove on. Come clean. Oh baby, you can move on. Gotta get my groove on. Here we go. La da da da. 'Cause here we go. Groove. I wanna groove, 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 babe. Groove, babe. daddy. And my background and my background sing, and my background sing. Gotta get my funky on, girl, cause you're looking so damn soft. Come on, won't you get me off? One time. I gotta get my groove on. Oh, baby, you can move on. I gotta get my groove on. Gotta get my groove on. Oh, baby, you can move and on. And you don't want me. I gotta get my groove on. I gotta get my groove on. Come on, oh, baby, you can move on.
Because I've just had two guests join me, right? I've got Sophie Corbett from Tempo Tea Bar in Glasgow and Cynthia Holden, our foodie friend of the show. Hello, both of you.
Hello.
And you're here because we're talking about the incredible rise of popularity in bubble tea. We see it right across towns and cities across Scotland. You might maybe have seen it in your local shopping centre or sort of a tea shop close by. And we thought we would give it a test today, right? So Sophie Corbett is from Tempo Tea Bar in Glasgow. And I know that, Cynthia, you've tried it, but you're not a fan.
I am not. It did not go down well, literally. When I tried it first, I tried it in Bath.
Right, in Bath. Okay, not in a bath, but
not
in
a bath.
The place. Okay, good.
We're going to convert you, I think.
Sophie, talk to us about bubble tea and why you think it's so good. I've got it here.
Yeah, so originated in Taiwan in the 80s, and our founders, Majim and Liam, kind of grew up with it throughout their childhood. But they realised that it wasn't very accessible in Scotland at the time, so they founded Tempo Tea Bar back in 2013. So that was already 11 years ago, and they were the first bubble tea cafe in Glasgow. So it's kind of crazy to think that now, because there's one in every corner now, it seems.
Right, describe it a little bit for me, because I know that there's one very specific sort of easily identifiable thing to make it bubbles. There's little bubbles at the bottom of the drink. What are they?
So it's called Pop and Boba, but I think people get confused as to why it's called bubble tea. So
is it not a bubble? Is that an actual thing?
Yeah, but you get lots of different toppings. So they called it bubble tea because when obviously you're shaking it, when the bobaristas, we call them, when they're making it in the shop, when you shake it, it obviously creates bubbles within the tea itself. But you get lots of different toppings that you can obviously choose from and customise it yourself. So it's not called bubble tea because of the pop and boba, but it's because of the tea itself.
Right, okay. So tell me what you brought in today for Cynthia and I, because I'm having one of them.
So we've got two of our probably most popular flavours, I would say. So you can choose either between fruit tea or milk tea when you come into the shop, and then obviously you can choose whatever toppings you want as well.
Cynthia's peering at them right now.
I know she doesn't look too sure. But so we've brought for you today, we've got strawberry fruit tea with mango pop and boba. I added a little bit of edible glitter.
Is this one that I'm going to have now?
Yes, it
is. Right, Cynthia, go for it. We'll do it together.
Okay.
I've got one as well, so I'll go for it too.
Oh, that's lovely.
It is.
Oh, are we converting you already with the first?
The big problem that I have with the tea prior to this, because this is amazing, is that the drink itself is not very, to me, it's not very flavor, whatever. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, and all the flavor is in these little bubble things, and that's the problem that I have because I'm drinking it and I'm like, So that is actually, the tea itself is really good.
Yeah, if we make it ourselves.
Yeah, and then the bubbles burst in your mouth or whatever the heck they're called, and it's like, woo! So yeah, I love it. I'm a fan.
Right. So it's actually, I know this is a ridiculous question. So this is actually a tea. Like a brewed tea.
Yeah, so the base for the fruit teas is jasmine tea. But we also add our own tea concentrates, which is much lower in sugar than typical bubble tea, which is usually pumped with like kind of sugary syrups. But we've developed our own tea concentrate recipe, which is much lower in sugar and lower in calories as well. So that's what adds the flavour.
Right, because I was going to say it tastes super sweet. It's very light, it's very fruity, and that's the kind of my vibe. I like that, but I wouldn't necessarily have things like that because I would think that's really quite bad for your teeth and it's a bit sugary. But you're saying that this one's actually
Yeah, so we developed our very own recipe, so it's all handmade.
Okay, right. Do you want to try the other one, Cynthia? What's the other one? Talk to us about that.
So this one is our original milk tea, and it's topped with brown sugar crystal boba. So the texture's a little bit different. It doesn't quite pop in your mouth. It's more of like a kind of
Is that meant to
chew.
pop?
Yes, it does. Like when you bite into it, it has that kind
of. Oh, right. Okay, so you need to just like.
You really need to.
It popped in my mouth. It didn't pop in your mouth.
No, it didn't pop in mine. I didn't suck one up enough, I don't think.
So if you want to try this one, it's slightly different texture.
Suck it on up, girl. Suck it on up.
I'm not having that one because I think that's quite a high caffeine.
Yeah, I'll have that one then. So
you have to
Tell me again. I am looking because I'm a coffee lover, but I don't like cold coffee, and I like tea, and I like iced tea. So tell me what this is again. How is this made?
I've got
so
pop
it's
there.
still an iced tea, but it's a milk base instead of a fruit.
Okay. Now I've never done this before ever, so beware.
It looks to me like a chocolate milk, which I really love. But
Yeah, that's my favourite milk tea is chocolate milk.
No? All right, wait a minute, because you did something to my mind when you said chocolate milk. So my mind was expecting chocolate milk, and I got there, but I didn't suck up any of those bubbles. So let me go again.
Here she goes. She's just
a little bit ASMR.
Well, they're not busting, honey.
Yeah, this is
they're just chewing in my mouth.
This is a different topping. So this is crystal boba. So it's made using cognac, which is really high in fibre. So it's a slightly different texture.
Are you convinced?
That's different.
Yeah, is it cognac? I said cognac, the alcohol.
No, oh no.
It's like, oh wow, this is taking a turn that I didn't expect.
I mean, you can make
Pass
them
that one
alcoholic
over.
if you want. We've got our home kits too, so if you want to get creative, obviously at home and add a little bit of vodka, then go for it.
Right, so are we
Yes,
saying then?
we have a home kit. I've actually brought one for you.
Let's see. Let's have a little look. All right, she's just reached into the bag to get the well, let's have a little look. Show us what it is, so it gives people an opportunity to make these at home. Just tell me quickly, because we're just running out of time towards the news, Sophie. But is it for everyone? I'm assuming you're going to say yes.
I'm going to say yes.
Shocker.
It's very customisable. You can make it suited to your kind of palate, so I think it definitely is.
Right. Just really quickly, Cynthia, are we converted you? You're a fan?
I do like this one. That was absolutely
The fruit
amazing.
one. It's 11:05. How you doing? It's Connie McLaughlin with you until noon today. Still to come.
Wow, wow, yippee yo, yippee yay. Where my dogs at? Honk with me now. Bow, wow, wow.
Dog. We've got a special dog behaviour surgery with our expert River McDonald. It's on the way shortly. If you need to get inside your canine's heads, maybe this could be your opportunity. River might be able to help you find the key. The number to dial is 08085 92 95 00, or you can send it a text right now on 80295. Plus,
the easiest way I can describe it is almost like a male birth control, but for HIV, and that's what I've often used. It's just a little blue pill I take daily, and it keeps me safe.
we'll hear how the drug PrEP has changed lives, but what more needs to be done to prevent new cases of HIV in Scotland. And
Miss Daphne Bridgerton.
You have no idea what it is to have one's entire life reduced to a single moment.
from Bridgerton to Bluey, how TV is changing the way we speak.
All the conversations that matter.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Changing the way we speak, is it not? One for the Bridgerton fans out there. I don't know if you're up to date on it. We're going to be speaking about that before midday today. And also we're playing Name the Place. I'm up to clue 4. So if you're playing along, this is clue 4 for you, right? An alternative clue was named after Brother James.
Yeah. We're doing this one for all the ladies. H-Town boys. Kicking it with my boy Luke. For the 9-3, you know what I'm saying? Cause we will be knocking the boots. G.I. Shazam and Dino. They gonna do a little something for you real sexy like, you know what I'm saying? Hey yo, check the verse.
Last night I thought back when we made good love, listening to some Marvin Gaye all night long. Now I want that old thing back, make these moments once again perfect. So won't you do it for us, babe? Loving, body rocking, knocking boots all night long. Hey. Making love until we're tired to the break of dawn. But oh, come on, and turn the lights down and let me get on it. Yeah. Cause when I do just me and you, it'll be so right. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', knockin' the boots. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', baby. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', that's all I need. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', knockin' the boots. I feel so good when I'm near. That's why I always wanna be close to you. I'm so addicted to making love to you, baby. All night long, baby. All night long, long. Good loving, body rocking, knocking boots all night long. Making love until we're tired to the break of dawn. But oh, come on and turn the lights down and let me get on it. Cause when I do just me and you, it'll be so right, so right, so right. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', knockin' the boots. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', knockin' the boots, baby, yeah. Give me
some good love. Somebody rockin', somebody rockin', yeah. Give me some good love. Somebody rockin', knockin' devil. Some sweet rockin', some sweet love. Somebody rockin', knockin' devil. Giving you my pleasure, 'cause I'm ready. I'm so ready, baby, to give you everything that we've been waiting on. So come on, give it to me, babe.
Oh, yeah. Right about now, we on the intermission tip. So all you ladies go get your towels, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's laid out like that, you know. But wait a minute, we ain't through. Kick the vamp.
I want your good touch, lady. You're hearing me, my baby. It's driving me crazy. So won't you come on and rock my body, baby. Come on and rock my body. Yeah. I wanna lay you down. And there's always time. So let me make some sweet loving, baby. I wanna turn the lights down low and close the door and do everything to you.
Right, it is 11 minutes after 11. It's time to return to our dog behaviour surgery. Clinical animal behaviourist River McDonald is back to talk through the latest pet stories making the headlines and also take your questions. I'm not sure how many of the pet stories we're going to get through today because the lines are chock-a-block. And you, if you want to get involved, you can call and be part of this today, 08085 92 95 00, or you can send her a text right now, 80295. We'll do our best to get through as many as we can. Shall we head to the lines?
Yes, let's do it.
Right, Karen is in Coatbridge. She's our first caller. Morning, Karen.
Hi, good morning.
Talk to us a little bit about your greyhound. River's all yours.
So I have a greyhound who was rescued about 6 years ago. She's called Jean. And she lives at home with with myself, my husband and my two daughters. And generally she's been a really good pet. She's got such a lovely nature. But there was a change in her behaviour about 1 year ago. And this coincided with my husband's work pattern changing, where he's away from home maybe a couple of nights each week. And since then, Jean has started barking during the night. So she's really high-pitched, loud bark that just keeps going if we don't respond to her. And she's wanting to get outside. So she's hopping about at the front door, wanting to get out to go to the toilet. And it was once a night, and then it's kind of increased, sometimes twice a night, pretty much every single night.
Gosh, that sounds exhausting.
It is, and what is interesting is that my parents help out with her, and so, for example, the last 2 nights she stayed with them, and when she's at their house, she sleeps soundly.
Really interesting.
It sounds like my son, Karen.
That's so fascinating. Yeah, thanks so much for phoning in. It's a really interesting one, but also a really tricky one because I've immediately got so many questions in my mind. I think the first thing to think about is what's initially waking her. So obviously once she's awake, she's wanting out. But I just wonder, do you have like a pet cam or anything? Are you able to actually look at what she's doing while she's sleeping and how she's waking up?
No, we don't. And she sleeps downstairs. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. And does she sleep in a different room as well at your parents'? Is she in a separate room?
Yes.
Okay, that's really interesting. So the first thing I would do is get a camera on her, and I'd say that to anyone listening, actually, get a camera on your dog when they're sleeping, when you're out. A lot of the information that we need when we're dealing with behaviour issues actually starts before the thing that we notice. So obviously we notice barking. In a lot of these cases, what we can do diagnostically is have a look at what is the behaviour when they're waking up. So are they unsettled through the night? It may be that she's actually unsettled and it's building. So it might be building gradually. With her being an older dog and with this being a newer behaviour issue as well, although there's obviously been a change in the circumstances, the family circumstances with your husband working away, there's a good chance that we're seeing age-related behaviour coming in here as well, so age-related changes. So things like she may now be less cold tolerant or more intolerant to heat. It may be that there's a temperature element. It could be that there's a noise. So with older dogs in particular, but all dogs, sometimes we can find out from looking at camera footage that there might be a sort of an ambient noise that's happening that actually triggers them awake, and then they can't settle and they need a wee. A bit like humans, and a lot of older humans as well will find the same thing, like they start waking in the night needing the loo, or if something wakes them up, they struggle to go back to sleep. Something that we see quite commonly as well is the presence of other predators in the area. So we see loads of problems with foxes and dogs getting triggered awake by foxes. So you would see that if you had a look on the camera. Is she suddenly, startling awake and suddenly being set off? Or are we actually seeing a bit of a sort of build up to it of her maybe being a bit fidgety, a bit unable to settle? Greyhounds are you probably know this as well, they're quite cold intolerant, so sometimes they need extra blankets and things like that as well, and that tends to get worse with age as well.
The thing about foxes is interesting because we do have a family of foxes that live nearby that we do see prowling about a lot. Yeah, so I mean, greyhounds most of them are kind of large. It's not like a wee chihuahua where you can pop it down the bottom of your bed and help them feel more secure. So if it is an option for her to have somebody sleeping by her, if that wouldn't, disturb yourself, sometimes with older dogs, all older dogs, actually bringing them up to sleep with people is necessary as they age. They are social animals. I think we forget that sometimes, that we've isolated them from their own species. As they age, they feel more vulnerable. So I think with Jean, I love the name, by the way, it's a lovely name. With Jean, I think we could be dealing with a few different things. So it could be, overarchingly that she's feeling more vulnerable as she ages, but I just wonder if there's some other triggers going on there. So things like predators outside, noises, obviously that difference between the parent's place and your place, and the fact that there's some level of it having started with your husband away. So whether that's also adding to that, feeling a little bit more vulnerable, bless her. That was significant. She is, although we all love her, she is his dog.
Oh, yes, that will make a huge difference.
I either wondered if she was upset or maybe if it was a bit of a protest. She's not happy. She does have a bed in her bedroom, but she more often than not chooses to sleep downstairs.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So does she have free access? Can she choose to come up and be with you? Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. That's so lovely. Because, a lot of people will say, don't let them sleep in the bedroom. That'll cause behaviour problems. And that's not correct. A lot of dogs, if they need that social support, that security, actually the best thing for them is often to be in the bedroom. That can fix some problems. But I think continuing to give her free choice. I think you'd mentioned as well when you'd called in earlier as well that she'd had a vet check and all is well. We were chatting about this, myself and Connie, in the break. And actually, vet checks are just the very basic level. A lot of dogs will not show things in a vet check, and a lot of older dogs in particular, but all dogs will have pain issues that won't present as, a physical sign. It will be behavioural. So at her age, I'd probably be wanting to get her checked by a physio just to see what everything's looking like there, especially if she's an ex-racer. They can pick up wee injuries that niggle them more over time. And potentially if she's still struggling, there's a lot of scope these days for behavioural medication as well. So helping support dogs with anxiety, not looking to alter their personality or sedate them or anything like that. But we have a lot of success in supporting them that way if they're feeling vulnerable, particularly where predators are concerned, actually, because it's really difficult to get rid of the trigger there. It's difficult to get rid of the foxes, but we can help support Jean and dogs like Jean to feel more secure.
Oh, poor Jean, Karen.
I know.
Thank you very much for your advice. Well, there's quite a few things there to consider, isn't there? From the pet camera to maybe a physio check, or maybe looking at some behavioural medication if it's anxiety.
There's lots of options. That's the good news. And although we're saying, she's an older dog at 10, we're seeing dogs living longer and longer and really good, fit, active lives with lots of support. I think there's a lot to go on there. Obviously, if you're struggling to work through it, look for a behaviourist. A veterinary behaviourist would probably be really good for her case. Can look at everything together, or a clinical behaviourist to help kind of unpick it all for you.
All the best, Karen.
Thank you so much for your advice.
Thanks for phoning.
Let us know how she gets on, will you?
Do, thanks.
Great stuff. Karen in Coatbridge, they're talking about her rescue greyhound Jean. Fiona's on the line in Highlands. Morning, Fiona.
Morning.
You've got a bit of an issue with your rescue dogs.
Yes, sadly, I've been rescuing dogs for years, but I recently about last year, I got a second rescue dog, and I'd only had the other one probably about 3 months, and they were fine. The second one was very nervous because he'd only ever lived in a kennel, I think, for about 9 months. He was about 10 months when I got him. So the problem is, so therefore he was really nervous. I couldn't get near him to get a lead on him. So he was used to walking with me open and not on a lead because we live very remotely, so we could go through fields and woods without needing to do anything other than cross the fence. Unfortunately, over the last, I would say, 4 or 5 months, the two of them have developed this pack behaviour, and as soon as a deer or a piglet is in sight, because we've got wild boar around us,
gosh,
they chase and they bring them down, and it's horrendous.
Oh dear.
And I have been keeping them on the lead, but they still sometimes, if a delivery driver leaves the gate open, or because it's about 4 acres that we live on, so it's really hard because it's on a hill to keep all the.
There they are. Morning, both of you.
They're like, she's not telling the truth. We're fine. We're good dogs.
We will stay right here. Fiona, what's their names?
The first one is Nana, and the other one's Lenny.
Nana and Lenny.
Yes.
Yeah, that is such a difficult problem, and again, something we see quite a lot across Scotland because we've got lots of livestock. Obviously, a big worry at this time of year is sheep for a lot of folk in a lot of areas.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a really difficult one because once they've had that sort of enjoyment, and it is, it's something that dogs really enjoy hunting, it is very, very difficult to undo that. It is possible, and I think it's to do with access to whether you can, again, get training support. It's definitely something that I would say to do with somebody really knowledgeable and experienced in this kind of work. Ideally, you want somebody who's got a setup. So I know there is a trainer in Glasgow, if you maybe did an internet search, who can work around livestock with you and with the dogs to help you gain more control. But it unfortunately is one where we would say that you're going to need very close management for life for those dogs, even if you were to split them up. So even if you were to, and obviously you may have tried this already, I would be tempted to see what they're like individually again, to see whether you can sort of work with them as individuals to try and get more control. It is possible in some dogs, in other dogs it just isn't. You could consider a muzzle. So you were mentioning about, if people are leaving a gate open when you've got like a large area to manage the dogs over, obviously we presumably not fair to keep them in all of the time, especially if you've got 4 acres. It's lovely for them to be able to access that, but it may be that you have to think about having a muzzle on them when they've got free access in case they get out, so at least they can't actually grab. Obviously with your kill bites and that sort of behaviour sequence, they would still be able to chase, they would still be able to potentially get on top of these animals, but they wouldn't actually be able to grab them and cause any injury. But yeah, it is a really difficult. I wish I had an easy solution for you, but it is one of making sure there's very, very strict management and then very gradually working to see if you can change their responses. We would normally start that trying to work up around livestock and animals that are used to the presence of dogs, so that you can work on a different behavioural response and reward that. So very, very difficult to do with deer and wild boar, unfortunately, because you just can't control where they're coming from, where they're going, and that environmental factor. So yeah, really difficult one. I'm really sorry to hear that that's happened.
No, that's good. That's really what I thought, and I did wonder about rehoming one of them to take away that pack mentality, because it's that's the most difficult thing of all. But it's the young one who's just thinking he's died and gone to heaven.
Oh, interesting. Is he he's the instigator?
Would you think about the muzzle?
Oh, I certainly would think about the muzzle.
Yeah,
I
it
had
seems like
always
a-
kind of thought that, oh, they're such a shame, and yet, you know, I had another dog who was very, very bad. He would bite people, but he was a foster. I was just sort of looking after him for a while, and I muzzled him, and it was a lot better when he was muzzled. You know, you were just more relaxed around him, you know.
Oh, that's
And
great. Thank you for
to do with it.
sharing that, because I think a lot of people immediately, I see people physically tense up when I suggest muzzles for their dogs, and I think there's a lot of sort of stigma around it still, but there's such a useful thing for allowing dogs to have freedom and to help us work through issues without there being that risk. It's not
Yes,
going to
and you can
solve the
still
problem.
Give them a treat. You can still give them a treat through the muzzle too, so you're able to reinforce as well. You know, it's good. No, thank you very much indeed.
You're so welcome.
It means I can breathe out half a lung's worth.
Oh, bless you. It's tricky, but I think it's something that we have to be sensible with these things. The fact that you've mentioned rehoming is really brave as well. I just wanted to say that because I think again there's a lot of stigma around rehoming, but sometimes that is actually a good choice. So I would maybe have a look at them separately and see whether it is just that one of them maybe isn't suited to this environment and could live a more free, a more sort of happy and a slightly less risky life somewhere else. It's absolutely okay. Obviously, you sound like the kind of person who wouldn't accept anything less than the absolute best if you were rehoming your dog. So I think that's also a potential option for everybody as well.
Yes, thank you very much indeed.
No worries.
Thanks,
you take
Fiona.
care.
Fiona there in the Highlands. That's a really good point that Fiona was making there about the muzzling. And is there a way that it can be? I mean, I'm not sure the best sort of phrases for that, but the kindest and gentlest approach to muzzling.
Yeah, absolutely. So we try to introduce muzzles as slowly as we can. It's really important to get the right fit. So often when dogs are rejecting muzzles and finding them uncomfortable, it's because it's too heavy for the dog or it's sitting in an uncomfortable place on the face. So we want to measure dogs up and choose muzzles that are going to be comfortable. And then just really gradually introducing them. It's what we call conditioning. So it's if you've ever heard of Pavlov's dogs, you're trying to associate this thing that previously had no association with something positive, so food. And once a dog is muzzle trained, we tend to work a lot with food. With muzzle trained dogs, we can modify muzzles to allow us to get the food in easier, or quite often we'll use like paste or something as well. So silicone toiletry tubes are really good for that. You can kind of mash up dog food and make your own concoctions and pop it in a tube and just squirt it into the muzzle. So we work a lot very successfully with muzzled dogs, and it just takes that the risk that they're going to suddenly react to something and we've not predicted it. And we don't want dogs with a bite history because that seriously limits their options going forward. So it's a very responsible thing that Fiona is considering there with the muzzle.
Right, we've got loads to get through, so I'll fire some at you and we'll try and get through them as quickly as possible.
Fire round.
And I know that's not very fair because it's not exactly like it's tricky whenever someone's got quite a complex issue, but we'll do our best.
I'll do my best
with the time we've got. Right, okay. This one from Paula in Giffnock. I've got a very cute Cavapoo who turns into a rabid beast if she meets another dog on her street, similar to what I was talking about earlier with Luna. When she's not on her street, she's fine with other dogs, but no way could a dog she's friends with even come into her house. She's very territorial, so it's all about the territorial thing. Is there any tips that she can use, Paula, to help with the territorial nature of her Cavapoo?
Yeah, I would question the territorial element and I would be very careful with that word, because I think it's very normal for dogs to be more likely to protect their home and their home environment. So we're more likely to see a more proactive behaviour, so trying to see off something, and more reactive. What I would do with that dog is I'd really look at the body language in other situations. So we're looking for lower level signals of anxiety, of not being comfortable. I would question whether she's truly fine with all dogs and truly fine with all stimuli like noises. So I suspect she's maybe a little more anxious. So having a look at the canine ladder of aggression, having a look at some body language stuff, and seeing whether actually there's a general anxiety that's being triggered. More so, you're seeing it more at the home environment because that's really important to her. That's her safe space and she wants to protect it.
Right, Kenneth from Stirling says, hey Connie, my golden retriever Jack is 13 now. I'm finding it very difficult to gauge how much walking he needs. When younger I could take him up a hill for long walks, but now he's tired after 30 minutes. I normally take him out 2 or 3 times a day for a short walk, and I think he has maybe got a little bit of dementia, so I can't really let him off the lead so much as he just wanders off. The problem is really that he's still keen to get out and about, but he's just not capable physically.
Oh, Kenneth, darling. I lost my retriever Cross last year, actually at 16 and a half, so that's very familiar. And it was funny with him because he would look at certain directions, wanting a bigger walk, and I knew that he couldn't manage it. What I would recommend with that is actually to find really good pain management support. So there's a charity called Canine Arthritis Management. They have loads of really good resources for supporting older dogs. I would definitely get him assessed by a physio or get him some clinical massage or something like that. A lot of that's going to be to do with his physical capability. It's not behavioural. Obviously, behaviourally, he's wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So it's how to support him physically. At that age as well, getting him onto a really good pain relief, I think, with the help of a veterinarian, would be a really good thing to do for him as well. And that hopefully will give you a good few more years.
Oh, fingers crossed, Kenneth. Right, this anonymous texter, we've got 4-year-old Poodle and a pug, yeah?
I want to say pug beagle, but I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
Well, if you're the texter who's not given your name, let us know. Every time me or my wife takes him out on the lead, he hears a loud something, hears a noise or something comes round the corner and starts, and it startles him, and he tends to nip our legs. Can you help? He's a good dog normally, but he's walking with him is a bit of a nightmare. So he's basically saying if he's out on the lead, he hears a noise or something comes round the corner, he gets a fright and starts to nip.
Yeah, that's a little bit similar to the wee Cavapoo. I would say that sort of, startle response is probably the sort of tip of an iceberg, and there's maybe some more anxiety going underneath. Often what we do, whether it's when it's noise related, obviously making sure that the dog's all fit and healthy first, is to gradually expose them to noises to try and get them used to those, and do that in a safe, relaxed, calm environment. So playing noises at home, that kind of thing. You can also try just pairing these noises and these stimuli with something that he really likes. So usually for most dogs, that's a high value food or treat. Just no words, no cues, no commands, just drop the food when he hears the noise, so that we're trying to change the emotional response to something positive. But I would definitely get that dog a really thorough vet check, and maybe consider a veterinary behaviourist as well, because there could be underlying issues there, I would say. And obviously there's a risk when he's nipping.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll go back to that idea of the muzzle as the first instance, maybe to take away the risk and then look at, I guess, what the issues are. River, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me. That was brilliant.
Yeah, you got through so many there. Thank you very much if you text in. Thanks for your calls as well. I'm sorry we can't get through all of them, but River will be back, I'm sure, soon to answer your questions. That was River McDonald, their clinical animal behaviourist. Right, it is just after 11:30. Vari's here in the studio with me. Lunchtime Live's coming up at noon. Hello.
Good morning. Yes, well, news just in. One person has died and 20 people have been injured on a flight from London to Singapore, caused by severe turbulence. So we will have the latest on that. It's a breaking story, information just coming into us. We'll also today, while we're on air, get the announcement from the government on compensation for those affected by the infected blood scandal. That figure is expected to be upwards of £10 billion. We'll have reaction to that. Also, Scotland's census figures are out today, and for the first time, most people have said they don't have a religion. Also shows, perhaps not surprisingly, we have an ageing population, and also that without migration, our population would be in decline. Plus, we'll be hearing about the reopening of a medieval street buried beneath a shopping centre in Stirling, reopening for the first time in 40 years.
Oh, interesting. Okay, all happening at noon. Thanks very much, Vari. Who are you with today?
It's Hayley.
It's Hayley. Hayley's back with us, right? Okay. So that'll be this afternoon, Lunchtime Live from 12 o'clock. It's 11:32.
Speed on the base pads, power at the plate, game-saving defense, strike after strike after strike. The Western Division champion Houston Astros begin another action-packed season April 6th. Don't miss the excitement. Season ticket packages start as low as $405. Business tax advantages still apply. Call Astros season ticket services at 799-9567. Astros Lightning. Feel the charge.
Right, I've given you clues 1 to 4. Clue number 5, a racy clue that has something in common with Cowdenbeath and Lochgelly. Right, a racy clue that's got something in common with Cowdenbeath and Lochgelly. 6. I'm going to give you 5 and 6 because that's the kind of person I am today. Clue 6 is an extra minute to find the right answer.
Yeah, platinum status. IMX is back again, so everybody run and tell a friend. LDB, Bad Romeo, the 3 bad brothers about to run the show. IMX is back again, yo, BAT, won't you bring it in?
Listen, don't you
hate it when people be hating on what you do. It's always about them and never about you. And sometimes you just don't know what to do. Listen to me when I say that I'ma get mine regardless of whether you hate. There's always somebody that just don't congratulate. So you can step off me or hate me, whatever. See, but first, tell me why you always hating on me. Ain't no need for that. Is it because you want me to spend my money? Ain't no need for that. And if you feel me with your hands up high and body with me, ain't no need for that. No need for that. Way it's out there, say it for me. Ain't no need for that. No need for Listen, that. Don't you hate it when people be always harassing you, trying to figure out what's your next move? I let them know, don't worry about me, take care of you. Listen to me. Why's everybody gotta